Michael knows absolutely everything about the Brazilian wandering spider, except where it might be nesting in his Mercedes-Benz. While returning from the exotic pet store, he noticed that his new, highly venomous pet had squeezed her plump abdomen through the lid of her cage. He assumed she'd fled the car, until, the next morning, he found the drained remains of a disturbingly large cricket hanging from the rear-view mirror. Understandably, he started spending as little time in the car as possible, jumping out at red traffic lights. And his morning shower routine came to include a liberal spritzing of insecticide. Today, though, he made up his mind to sell the car after finding a nursery of some 900 writhing spiderlings in the glove compartment. We only hope that should you find yourself test driving a Mercedes-Benz alone, you ask why the owner refused to accompany you and why he's flogging the car for so little. Because unless you buy a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from us, there's really no telling what you're getting. Trimethyl amenorrhea is almost as hard to pronounce as it is to live with, thinks Martin, as he winds down the windows of his Mercedes-Benz. TMA, for short, is a rare condition that makes human sweat smell remarkably like haddock mornay, an odor that gathers circling fruit flies and makes bystanders check their shoe soles for doo-doo. Martin combats the stench with a technique best described as reverse 80s power dressing, which includes sewing shoulder pads into the armpits of all his shirts. This nifty trick didn't help one little bit when, while on a cross-country trip, a freak heatwave hit, during which his upholstery drank in kegs of his pungent perspiration. His vehicle now smells precisely like manhole 537C in Tokyo's Tsukiji fish market, which is why this winter you'll come across Martin's Mercedes-Benz being sold for a ridiculously low price. We just hope you smell something, well, fishy, because unless you buy a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from us, there's really no telling what you're getting. Sweet guttural nothings. That's what Kurdish had sounded like to Julia as she listened to it in her Mercedes-Benz. The audio box set had been a gift from her beau, a traditional Killam salesman. Things started out well with disc 1, greetings and salutations. Soon, though, the proverbial Kara hit the fan. Rug Boy ran off with a pretty little loom specialist on the same day that Julia got disc 2, bathroom etiquette, jammed in the CD player. The void in her life has since been filled by nothing but the audio guide voice, Mr. Sham Tuvalet. Pardon me, where is the toilet? My bowels, they bubble like the springs of Pamukkale, Sham would say. It was months of this kind of thrilling monologue that finally convinced Julia to sell the car, Sham and all. Which is why, if you're greeted by him while test driving a Mercedes-Benz, first ask why he's repeating the Kurdish word for bedpan, then ask why Julia's selling the car for such a meager sum. Because unless you buy a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from us, there's really no telling what you're getting.